Welcome to episode 31 of the Movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. I'm James.
I am Laurie.
And I am Wyndham.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, mate, considering.
I'm living in a weird kind of sci-fi movie. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
and it's not the best sci-fi movie either, is it?
We are going to have a corona-free zone here, guys. No talking of the virus except that little bit from me at the start. Is that fair enough?
Okay,
Yeah.
So this is going to be a short podcast, yeah?
No.
We have got films to trawl through, information to seek. We've got to help out the nation, or the internation, because they're going to be clamouring for our advice on what to watch, I'm sure.
I agree. Who wouldn't? You just need to look at our historical podcast range. I actually had somebody at work tell me they were very excited. They just found the podcast, and they were very excited by our choice of films. So,
really?
Yeah. This is somebody who had actually already seen, so she's about 15, 20 years younger than me, so she's in her mid-20s.
Yeah.
She had already seen the original RoboCop. She had already seen Watership Down, and she has already seen One Cut of the Dead. And frankly, okay, so our podcast is bob on for her.
Yeah, first two is kind of sort of meat and gravy, but that last one, well done, girl, 10 points. Boom.
It's like we are doing this podcast specifically for her.
Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah, Kira.
Hello, Kira.
Her name is?
Kira. Like, as in Dark Crystal?
As in Dark Crystal, yeah.
Well, Kiora. Yeah. Not like that at all, really.
Like the drink and
as in the orange drink.
Just for me and my dog. Can we play that, James?
Dora, Kiora.
Kiora?
That's too orangey for clothes. It's just for me and my dog.
I'll be your dog. I'll be your dog. Dora. Kiora.
That was Made in the Jungle, whatever it was. Made in the Congo.
Okay.
Umbongo, they make it in the Congo.
Now we're up to speed with Kira and Umbongo. Have we got any mail? No. Have you guys had anything?
Have we not?
No.
I know what.
No.
I didn't make any up this week.
Thank God. Oh, Wyndham, thank you so much for your last podcast. It was well received.
Was it good? I actually was listening to it when I went for a run this morning, and I think you two are funny fuckers.
Oh, we are.
You made me laugh while I was out in the Croydon countryside.
Running on your cream.
All right, let's get on with it then, shall we? So, let's have a bit of news.
Hi, hon. How's it going?
What was that? What the shit was that?
I had a little frog in my throat. Okay,
right, okay.
I can't talk about I've got two pieces of news.
So
one of them is the coronavirus, and I said I'm not going to talk about that, so I'm crossing that off the list.
Right. Fair enough. I've got a small piece of news. It's not really news. Everything has stopped, but Batwoman is coming to TV in that follow-on from Gotham, which I think on the last podcast we were saying DC have done really well on their TV stuff, and actually now they're moving their Gotham series into Batwoman, which actually, I've seen the trailers, looks pretty good.
Cool. Well, you really liked Gotham, didn't you, James?
I did like Gotham, but I don't know if I can handle another one, because Pennyworth has also started, hasn't it? Which is a story about the young Alfred Pennyworth. And I watched like the first 20 minutes, and I just thought, what am I doing?
What were you doing? You were watching the young Pennyworth.
Yeah, so I stopped watching it.
Was it any good?
Well, it was.
This is tracking his time through the army and stuff like that.
It doesn't sound like it. If he's questioning his existence
Yeah,
whilst watching it.
I just thought, well, you know, what do I like Batman about? I like Batman because of the villains, really. And if I'm really honest, I like the villains from the '60s TV show. My favourite being King Tut,
Oh, it's King Tut.
who used to bang his head and then turn into like the Egyptian king or pharaoh, I suppose. And then at the end of the episode, bang his head
I
again.
never saw King Tut.
He was a big fat guy. And yeah, at the end of every episode, he used to bang his head again, and he just turned
Who
back
did
into
Vincent-
a librarian or something.
Who did Vincent Price play? Vincent Price was in there a couple of times. I'm sure he was.
Yes.
Cesar Romero, Eartha Kitt. Oh man,
Well,
it was such a beautiful
three
thing.
people played Catwoman, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, there was a. Oh, what's her name? She was just gorgeous. Oh, can't remember, but I love her. She meant a lot to me.
Well,
It
obviously.
was not Eartha Kitt though, even though she's amazing. Eartha Kitt is amazing, but there was another one.
So Vincent
Anyway.
Price played Egghead in Batman.
Egghead.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
And I might as well tell you he played
Oh,
Catwoman.
my knowledge of the '60s Batman is very limited.
I used to watch it all the time. I was not in the '60s, obviously.
And it's probably, and it is, I know you don't want to mention it, but we are adhering to the isolation principles around the current global fuckery.
Exactly.
So
We're all in the lighthouse.
We're
You're
relying
in
on
your room.
Tinterweb.
You're in your room. James is in his room, and I'm stuck upstairs looking after the light. It's fine.
It's just the way the cookie crumbles, Laurie. It was unfortunate when lockdown happened, you happened to be in the library.
You've got to keep
Fuck
turning
bags.
that
I've
light.
eaten Alan, by the way. You know that crocheting seagull? I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, guys.
Okay, so just to
I've
finish
still
off
got
on
his butt left, though. His butt's still here.
just to finish off on our Batman stuff, the three women who
Oh,
played
do you have to?
Catwoman were Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, and Eartha Kitt.
I think it might be Lee Merriweather. Anyway, I love one of them.
All right, Laurie, have you got any news?
Terrific.
Probably. No. Let me have a quick look. I might have written something down. Did I write anything down? No, that's a pub quiz.
So
News. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Couple of weeks ago, maybe even last week actually, Stuart Gordon. So he's our boy Reanimator, the director of Reanimator, director of From Beyond, Day Gone. So he did a lot of H.P. Lovecraft. You know, pretty credible filmic representation of H.P. Lovecraft. He passed away at 72 years of age.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Of I'm going to say natural causes.
is there any such thing as
So
natural
Stuart
causes
Gordon,
these
there we
days?
go. Huh?
I'm not convinced there is any such thing as natural causes anymore.
Really?
Is there a pause because you're trying to digest what I'm saying, or that you can't hear me?
I think we're trying to digest what you're saying.
Oh, whatever.
No such thing as natural causes.
So I've got another little question.
It's
for
difficult
you,
to comment on that without. Go on then.
Well, as you may know, they're currently in production of a massive blockbuster version of Stephen King's The Stand, featuring Whoopi Goldberg as Mother Abigail.
Oh.
Do you think they're going to do it?
I think it might be paused for a bit. I think they might have some.
The premise of The Stand is most of the world dies due to Captain Trips' terrible disease, so it might be a little bit close to the bone now.
Yeah. Tricky. But
It will happen.
Yeah, it will.
Just
Yeah.
won't be when they expect it. It's just going to be a little bit delayed. Whoopi's going to be more seasoned,
A bit like our conversation.
but it will be there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go into beat then. Flip it heck. Okay, I'm going to start us off. So my In the Beam is a short film called La Cabina, which was made in 1972, Spanish film, directed by Antonio Mercuro, starring Jose Luis Lopez Vasquez. And I can't remember where I fell upon this now, but it's only half an hour long. What? It doesn't matter. You can find it. Just type it into the internet. Anyway, it's all about a man. It's about this telephone box, and a man goes to this telephone box to make a call, and the door locks behind him, and he can't get out. And then everybody's trying to get him out, and you can't break through the door, and it's kind of a bit weird and a bit funny, and then it gets really dark. And that's all I'm going to say.
So now,
Okay.
I saw this when I was really young. They played it a couple of times, I think, on BBC Two, like, late at night, and I loved it. It's so good, isn't it? So it starts off very kind of. It's a little bit surreal, isn't it? Kind of like very, kind of that sort of Mediterranean kind of sea, surreal kind of thing. But yeah, it starts out fairly normally, but then it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. Sorry, there's an apparition. Oh,
Shall I give you
see
mine?
in a minute.
Let's wait. I'll have to edit this bit out. All right.
Okay.
Fit ready? You ready? All right, Witham, give us yours.
So I, surprisingly, considering I'm just at home now, I haven't actually watched that many things. But I did finally get round to watching Brightburn.
Oh, right.
You guys
yeah.
seen Brightburn? It's like a modern what happens if a... Yeah, it's basically kind of based on what happens if Superman came to the planet but had bad intentions towards all of us. So, spaceship crashes on the Earth. This couple who've been desperately trying to have a family for however long, it crashes outside their barn. They adopt the kid as their own, and then at the point he's probably starting to go through puberty, he starts developing his powers, and he's not quite as wholesome as, say, somebody like Superman was. But yeah, it was all right.
Oh, it sounds good.
I think it's probably worth a watch. I think that they were hoping to set it up as a kind of franchise type thing, which I'm not sure whether it's quite strong enough for that. But it was, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. And there are a couple of nice set pieces, kind of more horror-based set pieces in it. Yeah, it's all right.
And what did you say you can see that on?
I think it was on Amazon.
See it on the Sky. It's on the Sky.
Oh, maybe it was on Sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
On all reputable streaming services.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which we all seem to have nowadays because we've got nothing else to do.
So I've seen quite a few things. I'm only allowed to say one though, aren't I? But I will just quickly mention this. This might interest you guys. If you like a whodunit, I love a whodunit personally. But this little baby here, Murder by Death, all right,
Laurie
starring,
seems to have forgotten
wait
that
for
we're
it.
just audio still, by the way, listeners.
Yeah, but starring Peter Falk, Peter Sellers, Alec Guinness, what's his name? Truman Capote.
Oh, wow.
What's her name? Maggie Smith.
Punchy cast.
Everybody. David Niven. Everybody.
Everyone.
What's it called again?
Murder by Death.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a comedy?
And it's definitely... It is, and it's definitely inspired Clue. So everyone in the right mind loves a bit of Clue. So yeah, hugely inspired that. Very, very funny.
It also looks like Peter Falk is playing Columbo.
Yeah, but he's much funnier, much funnier.
All right, thanks very much. All right,
Oh,
so
no,
on the rocks, Wyndham.
Love on the rocks ain't no surprise.
Do you want to give us your on the rocks?
For a change, I don't have an on the rocks this time.
All right.
I do.
I do as well. Go on, Laurie, you go first.
Surprisingly, now this is a while ago, probably about 3-4 weeks ago, a Hitchcock movie came on. And I, thought, obviously, great Hitchcock. You've got Cary Grant in it. Fantastic. To Catch a Thief. Fantastic. Started watching it. It's clunky as hell, and it's really not very good. And it surprised me. To Catch a Thief, Hitchcock, 1955. No. Another one as well, Stormbreaker, fucking awful.
You did that when I was writing. I'm going to let you do your other in the beam. I've changed my mind now. All right, I've got it on the rocks. I've got it on the rocks. I watched Terminator Dark Fate the other day.
Oh.
Was that the latest one done by Cameron with all the guys? Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you don't want to know what happens in it, close your ears for a second. But, right, they did that cardinal sin that I really hate, that they did in Aliens and all that kind of stuff. It's a direct follow-on from Terminator 2. And in the first 5 minutes, they killed John Connor. You know, he's still a lad, he's at the bar, and the Terminator comes and kills him. And it's like, oh, well, what was the point of Terminator 2?
And one.
Yeah.
And one.
Yeah. And then it just slowly deteriorates into the most cringeworthy bit of film. And then just to top it all off, you know, halfway through, obviously, Schwarzenegger's back. And he's just appalling, you know. It's awful.
Is it suck cock? Is it a sack of fuck?
I think it is. All right, well,
that's disappointing, isn't it? It pisses me off when they do that. They kind of, you've got these, so they've just had all the Alien films on TV, so Prometheus and Covenant and stuff like that. And those have their qualities.
Yeah.
It's that whole kind of trying to they made these amazing films in the 70s of Alien and Terminator, and it's like, shit, we cannot recapture that lightning because those films are they broke the ground, and now it's like, well, just make it bigger and more explosive and a bit, just fuck it, doesn't have to make sense. It's so frustrating.
The reason why they did the Terminator one, this Terminator one is for money, and I'm sure they made plenty of money.
The problem with it is as well, is it is almost like a remake of Terminator 2. You know, you've got the big chase scene with, instead of an articulated truck, I think it's like a JCB or something, I don't know. But it's virtually...
So a slower chase scene.
Yeah, I'm not good with vehicles, so I don't think it was one of those, but it was big. But yeah, it was just a waste of time, really, so that was a shame.
I think what's important to say, though, it sounds like that Terminator sounds proper wank, but with the Alien stuff, at least with Prometheus and Covenant, they are definitely trying to do something with it. I feel I need to go back to them and try and give them more time. But they're definitely trying to do something.
Yeah, I thought Prometheus was quite nice. I quite liked it as a visual kind of thing.
Yeah. It was, I agree. I kind of dipped into both of them just very briefly while they were on, and for some reason didn't manage to stick with them. But I agree. I think they're worth going back and giving another crack to.
Yeah.
All right, so should we get on with our feature presentation?
Yeah.
The year 2000.
Let's all meet up.
Okay. So, just before we start that, I just want to talk a little bit about the ones that got away. So we have Pitch Black, which was a Vin Diesel thing, wasn't it? Where he had silver eyes.
It was, yeah. Yeah, it was Vin Diesel. Yeah, you know it was me, James. As you had double bubble. I still really like it. This was on TV recently as well, and it's Vin Diesel before he became the bell-end Vin Diesel has become, or the myth around whatever it is. And I just think it's a really enjoyable sci-fi / scary, jumpy film. So I thought it was worth it, but whatever.
You're right. No. You're right, and I should have chosen it. And the only reason why I chose The Beach is because I really can't stand it, and I've got some weird flagellation.
All right, and the other one that you chose that unfortunately
was Hollow Man.
Which would have been
not a chance.
Yeah, the reason I picked that was because the episode had gone on for so long. It was just the first film I saw. So let's just pick a film, get out of the room. This has been the longest podcast we've ever done. Let's just crack on.
All right, well, let me give you a little bit of information about the year 2000. All right, so in the news, Harold Shipman was exposed for killing off a load of pensioners. So he was like the early version of the coronavirus, I guess. In popular culture, the Millennium Dome opened, soon to be rebranded
yeah.
as the O2. Did anyone
Do
go?
I
Did you go
remember
to it?
this?
Yeah, it was
Do I
rubbish.
remember
So did I.
this? Do I remember this wrong? But when they first opened it up, they had like the whole body, whatever, and you used to go up
They
an
did.
escalator
You
into
did.
a fanny.
Into the colon.
I thought it was into the
I
fanny.
don't think you went in through the vagina.
A massive fanny.
No.
They missed
But
the
there were
trick
pubic
there,
lice
man.
in there. There was pubic lice in there.
That was the thing that everyone was talking about. All that bloody money, and that's all they got.
It was such a
people
crock of.
People coming down from the ceiling in sheets.
Yeah, it was super rubbish. I was working for a globally well-known credit card company at the time, and just before Christmas, the company wanted to do a Christmas do, and we were sent to recce the Millennium Dome as a potential venue, and we just came back going, it's utter poke. So we just went to the pub instead.
Well, there you go. Anyway, on TV, we had Big Brother for the first time.
Did we?
Yeah, The Weakest Link was at the height of his powers as well. I think that started too.
Oh yeah.
And music, Coldplay released their debut album. Crikey.
Big fan there, Lauren.
Do you know what? I quite like their song Yellow, their first song. And people who died in the year 2000, Alec Guinness.
Fucking
Sir
hell.
John Gielgud.
Oh.
And Paula Yates.
Yeah.
And
That's a shame.
top 5 grossing films. We had Meet the Parents, Mission Impossible 2, Perfect Storm, X-Men, and at the top was Gladiator. Featuring a posthumous appearance by whom?
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed.
Yeah, they sellotaped his head on in some bits, didn't they?
Yeah, they certainly did. All right, let's make a start. So
That does not sound like a great top 5, can I just say, for 2000. That evidently wasn't a super great year for box office.
No, but I think the 2 films that I chose were quite good. Let's have a look at that, shall we? So,
Box office always drinks cum anyway, so don't worry about that.
All right, so film number 1 is going to be Battle Royale. Let me tell you a bit about Battle Royale. It was released in 2000, obviously. Director Kinju Fukasaku. Screenplay
Kenshi Kanaka.
Kenta Fukasaku. Novel Kushin Takami. Music Masashimichi Amano. It had a budget of 4.5 million and it got a box office return of 30 million worldwide. It gets 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. It had 1 sequel, Battle Royale 2, and I am not going to embarrass myself by reading through the list of actors because it's just going to be cringeworthy. So let's have a clip.
人生はゲームです。みんなは必死になって戦って生き残る価値のある大人になりましょう。バトルロワイヤル。
So, Laurie, do you want to give us a synopsis?
Oh, it's kind of future Japan, even though it feels very present, even now, even though it was made like 20 years ago. Anyway, so kind of future Japan, and there's this thing that's come out from the government where they basically, there's an act called the Battle Royale Act where they take delinquent students onto an island and make them all kill each other.
Pretty good, and it was obviously the precursor to things like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Completely ripped it off. But it did come later than The Running Man, so we have to give all the credit to The Running Man, I reckon.
Well, no, yeah. However, this, oh God, Battle Royale is so good. It cuts through like a bitch. It's
slightly
funky,
different,
it's meaningful, and it's just cool.
All right, so
Yeah.
Wyndham, had you ever seen it before?
I had, yeah, but not particularly long ago. So I think I probably saw it for the first time 5, 6 years ago.
Okay, yeah, I saw it.
It is a hell of a watch.
Oh, I love this film. I absolutely adore it. I saw it for the first time probably about 15 years ago. I've got a feeling it might have been with you as well, Laurie. But
Yep.
I adore every bit of this film. I love the I've got it here. It's a deliciously violent film. You know, it's Laurie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just loved it. I can't remember how it popped on my radar. I can't remember for the life of me. I was interested in Japanese cinema, and I suppose it just naturally came out, really. But yeah, it's just right from the opening, really, just the brutality of it just shook me. And obviously, you know, we have seen that kind of concept before with The Running Man, which I always loved. I don't think The Running Man kind of lived up to that, how good that idea could be. And they just nail it, like from the scene on the bus where they all get gassed and they wake up in that room, and then they just get, you know, it comes out, they're explaining the rules to them, that bizarre kind of really happy, hey, and we're all playing a game, and they've all got their like bracelets around their neck, necklaces around their neck, sorry. Just that whole scene is like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. And it just escalates from there, and all the characters so quickly, so efficiently, you kind of get a connection to all the different characters, even though they've probably got a real short snippet of airtime, but bizarrely they just managed to nail all of that. And I just loved it.
Yeah,
and still do.
It's a big ensemble cast, and right away, I mean, obviously there's about 5 or 6 people that you're really kind of focused on, but you feel like you know all of them a little bit, and I think it's really nice the way that they use flashbacks as well to establish more the story of the characters going through it, but it doesn't wallow in that. It's so quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because the fundamental premise is there's been a breakdown in respect between the younger generations and the older generations, and in Japan, obviously, it's a very respect-driven culture. So they passed this Millennial Education Reform Act, as you say, Laurie, Battle Royale Act, and it's just it's kind of triggered by the fact that a kid in school ends up knifing one of the teachers, and then that year essentially get thrown onto this island, single survivor takes all type thing. And it's good. And to your point, Laurie, not only do you kind of get a really quick snippet, but they end up normally you'd have a progression from normality through desperation to whether or not they were going to be a murderous psychopath or looking to hide or do something else. But in this, really quickly, it's really economic.
It's because
this is how you're going to be immediately. So you kind of walk out and there are 2 people who've already hung themselves within 10 seconds, and then there's a fat kid with a crossbow. And
that's the question. That's it. That's the question they've been given. It's like, right, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to be like a team player? You're going to try and get together? Or you're like, that's it, you lot are fucking dead, I'm going to kill you, or suicide or whatever. Really, really cool. I just, you mentioned it. I still can't quite figure it out, but there's obviously, you see a previous year where the winner of the Battle Royale Act has won, and she's now free. Remember that? So it's kind of like this is year 2 or year 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or because of the 2 guys as well. You know, the 2 guys when they're in the room, these ominous characters sat at the back of the room. They were previous.
And Kawada. Kawada won it 3 years before this version.
Yeah.
When did you last watch it, Laurie?
It's a while ago.
I knew it. You're just trying to remember the film as we talk about it. Gosh. Could you guys participate?
Could we participate?
Would you do it?
Oh, you didn't get a choice, though, do you?
No, yeah.
So
What would you? Yeah, you're thrown in.
What would you do?
What would the base reaction be?
I'd look after you guys.
Yeah, you would. I think you'd break into tribes first, wouldn't you? Which is essentially what they do. And then you kind of go, okay, well, the 4 of us will run around, the 3 of them will run around, the 5 women go to the lighthouse and essentially set up a domesticated life together.
Oh,
which is
that's
quite nice.
such a good scene.
Yeah.
That is such a cool scene.
Until it all falls apart, because fundamentally, whatever the kind of links and the decisions they've made, it's like, no.
It all
Everybody
drops to
knows.
shit.
There's one survivor coming out of this, so at some point, you're going to have to throw down.
Because, you've got that scene, because basically, correct me if I remember this wrongly, but there's the quiet one kind of in the background. She's poisoned the soup or something.
Yeah.
And then the guy, she doesn't want the guy to die or something. She stops him, and then because of that...
They mix together the, like, school kid stuff. Like, oh, he really likes you. Now I'm going to shoot you and stuff like that. Brilliantly.
And that's what it would be. You put teenagers in there. That shit would be going down.
And it's because you've got the guy who evidently fancies the female lead and has done for years and years and years, but she's not interested. And he corners her, and then basically kind of goes, "We know we're going to die anyway. We should shag." And it's just that kind of teenage thinking. It's like, look, listen, seriously, I really want to get laid before I go. Why? We should. What possible reason do you have not to do it? But I think she knives him in the crotch.
She certainly does. She's very
very
patient with him. She's very patient with him.
She is.
And he accidentally cuts her thingy, and then boom,
she loses her mind.
The other thing
she is awesome
about this, because it's obviously it's based on a comic, isn't it? It's based on a
it's originally based on a book,
right?
And then subsequently, they made a manga of it.
Although it's very dark, it's very light as well, and so it's not horrific. Although it's got lots of horrific elements in it. The deaths are inspired and very cleverly shot and stuff like that. But you could pull out so many different scenes, like the explanation video at the start. They put the film on with the girl who's a bit like a weather girl.
The kind of cutesy,
amazing,
yeah.
It's just, I just love everything about this film.
She's very cutesy in the way she kind of goes. She explains the collars.
Yes.
It's kind of like, hey, if you do whatever. Is it a distant? Oh, because they shrink the island as well, don't they?
They have zones. They chop it up in zones, so you have to.
If you're in the zone at a certain time,
specific time. If you're not, your necklace blows up. But Kitano, so the teacher that seems to be running the whole kind of this year's battle royale.
Yeah.
I suppose that's how it works actually. So you become, if you're the teacher that wants to, fuck up the class that you're angry with or the kids that you're angry with, you become kind of the runner of that season.
Yeah, I
he
did
has
have
a
a problem with that. I thought that was a bit hokey, but you can make sense of it. And
he's a great actor, that guy.
For the extra level of him talk. Come on, guys, don't be so sad. I hope you get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, and when it all starts, and you've got these 40 people in a room, and the kid who stabbed him is in there, and just to drive home the fact that this is real, he shoots him, and it's just holy shit.
Yeah. So that's
oops, I'm not allowed to kill the kids.
Yeah. So I may be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that guy's called Beat Takashi. Really, really good actor. He did Violent Cop, Boiling Point, Sonatine. But he's a cracker.
We do know we can see you reading this.
Yeah. No, I forgot the name of the film, so I had to just quickly check. Lucky I've got him up here, isn't it?
Yeah, he's Beto Takeshi in the film, and he's Takeshi Kitano as an actor.
Yeah, right.
Can we talk a little bit about the music? So they, a bit like Clockwork Orange, they use loads of classical music, don't they?
Yeah, do they use the Blue Danube at some point?
Don't think so.
Don't know.
But I think the music is kind of like another character in this, because right from the start, when you've got the waves crashing on the beach, and you've got the opening, whatever it is, it's just very powerful, and it gets you straight in there right away.
Yeah. I think when
I think
the morning
Sorry,
guest
Laurie.
reports, when they run basically over the tannoys, they run the reports of who's died. Again, another great thing, when someone dies in this film, you see at the bottom, death number 1, whatever their name is, and what they died of, and how many are left. But in the morning, you get the Blue Danube over the tannoy, and then they say who died.
And it's interesting because obviously the Hunger Games is a direct rip-off.
Yeah.
But in this, you're then looking at a room full of 40 people, and the expectation is that at most you're going to see half of them die, because there's a lot of people to kill off. And if you remember the Hunger Games, and you just kind of have randomly people end up dying, and you have to assume that they've killed each other at a different part of in the playing area. But this essentially covers every single one of them.
Yeah.
The only people you don't see die are the suicides.
Yeah,
I think.
But you see them in either flashback, don't you, or you see them hanging, don't you? I guess
you see them hanging. Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the effects, because obviously this doesn't rely, well, not obviously, but it doesn't rely at all on CGI. It's all like practical effects, and all for the better, I think. You know, you've got, I mean, the use of blood. The Japanese seem to do it better than anybody else, don't they? Really?
Yeah. It is so, like you say, there's nothing particularly fandangled about it. It is a bunch of kids running around with sharp projectile-based weapons or whatever, and the impact that
pot lid. You got like a saucepan lid, because you don't know what you're going to get, because everyone gets a different pack when they run out.
Yeah,
and some people have got like binoculars or a saucepan lid or a Uzi 9mm. You never know. Awesome idea.
Concept. Has anyone seen the sequel?
No.
Yeah. So it's very much about that hacking into battle royale.
Isn't it, really? They try to get the resistance route, but it doesn't really work, I don't think. And I don't think you can recreate this sort of thing. You know, this is a one-off kind of opportunity. It's like there's nothing quite like it. All right.
Although lots of people have tried to. There have been lots of films where groups of individuals have ended up. Lots of sci-fi films basically, and you kind of take people from wherever they are and drop them in a game area. But you're right, it isn't the same, and it doesn't. They never work quite to the same degree that this one does.
And I suppose we can't really. Laurie, will you stop doing that? What are you doing?
Do you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to, when I'm not talking, charge my phone up, because it's just flashed up with my phone's about to die.
We're gonna have a 10-minute break in a minute when we finish this, and then you can charge it, blast it for a bit. Because I've got to feed my dog. All right, so memorable scenes. I've put here. I mean, I think there's loads of set pieces, but the fight between the girl psycho and the guy psycho. You know,
awesome.
He's brilliant. You know,
I agree. Yeah, that's good. But I think my favourite scene is when the girls in the lighthouse, their relationships deteriorate, because that's kind of like almost Tarantino-esque in the way that scene just escalates, and there's 5 or 6 of them, and somehow the choreography means that they all get killed. And it is just a brilliant scene.
Tarantino blatantly said, this is the film that he wished he could make. He says he's completely in love with this film. It's one of his best films of all time, and you can clearly see, can't you?
So, look, now we're in today's society, and we've got very easy access to subtitles and things. Do you think they should be remaking films like this? I mean, I know they haven't specifically remade Battle Royale, but I've got a feeling they are at the moment. But, you know, and obviously
what do you mean? English language versions?
Well, we've just seen, you know, we have seen Parasite, you know, and I think that was all the better for its original language. Do you think Hollywood should be taking these films and remaking them? Or?
Of course not. No. We've just seen it, right? And we can see it's still relevant today. It's just transcended 20 years. It's still proper, brutal, good, relevant, and just excellent. So absolutely, there's no need to remake this whatsoever. And with regards to a scene, though, I do want to flag that I love the bit where the big fat guy that's got the crossbow, when they all start coming out,
yeah.
he chomped someone in the neck. This person walks past with an arrow, and all of a sudden you realise, okay, we're on. And just that really awkward bit where he loses his crossbow and the guy picks it up and gives it back to him. Well, he's going to give it back to him. But then he sees, wait a minute, this guy's actually gone batshit crazy. So he kills it. It's just like that scene is just like, it's just so good.
That's it. I think you can go shot by shot by shot. Like even I love the bit where the girl, the jogger, where she's running. And she's remembering.
And her
boyfriend said, I'll always run with you. And then she's in the same tracksuit, but she's suddenly running on the island. I thought, oh, that's lovely, you know, just...
Yeah.
Win, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, on the Hollywood remake stuff, undoubtedly they will, because it's such a great film, but it will lose all of the beautiful nuance and the Japaneseness. And that is what, through the movie Lighthouse, I have realised I absolutely love Japanese films.
Yeah.
And Parasite, obviously, is a Korean film, but they're
they've already remade it.
They're just a thing of their own. They're beautiful.
America has already remade it. It's the Hunger Games. They've already remade it.
Yeah, no, they've made a version of it. But even if they were to do shot-by-shot remake, it would be so much shitter because it would just lose all of that just Japanese otherliness.
Yeah.
I'm going to run out of battery.
Yeah, I mean, there was rumours that they were going to remake it, but I don't think they are. All right, well, let's quickly score it, and then we'll take a break, yeah? So, performances. Laurie.
9.
Win.
6.
And 7 from me. Effects, Wyndham.
7.
8.
8.
Plot, 9 from me. Laurie.
10.
Ooh, 8.
Rewatch factor, Laurie.
9.
5.
9 from me. Direction, Win.
6.
9 from me.
9.
Cinematography, 7.
7.
7.
Sound and music, Laurie.
8.
7.
7 for me. Originality, Win.
9.
9 for me.
Because you did say The Running Man, didn't you? 9.
And enjoyability, 10 from me. Oh, that's not the last one.
9.
8.
And life-changing, Wyndham.
0.
8.
7.
All right, so that gives my total of 83.
Punchy. I've given it 63.
Yeah.
2 million.
What amazes me with is he's been at home on lockdown. All this time he still didn't watch the bloody film.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it? It's almost like he's got something else to do.
Exactly.
Like look after kids or something.
I was eating seagull, for God's sakes. Right, 85.
85. What's that?
85 gives us a grand total of 231 and a movie Lighthouse rating of 77.
What? Is that all?
77. So
that's pretty good. I'm giving our leaderboard. I think that's pretty good.
All right. So 77. I can say right on our 2020 leaderboard. That puts it in second place, just below One Cut of the Dead.
Right.
And
it's better than One Cut of the Dead.
Overall,
Japanese
it makes the
top
10, which is great news. It is just below Candyman and just above Silence of the Lambs.
Wow.
That's
Cool.
pretty good.
Pretty punchy.
Yeah, which
Pretty
means
punchy, babes.
we have knocked off the Dark Crystal and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from our overall top 10.
Well, they've had a good run.
It's sad to see him go.
So, the next film is going to be The Beach. So, let me give you a little bit of information about The Beach. All right, again, released in 2000. The director was Danny Boyle. It was written by Alex Garland. Music, Angelo Badalamenti, John Cale and Brian Eno. Budget 50 million. It made. Anyone want to guess how much it made worldwide?
Made me sick.
Ah,
300 million.
144 million. It got 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. No sequels or spin-offs. And it had Leonardo DiCaprio as Richard, Tilda Swinton as Sal, and let's say Robert Carlyle as Daffy. All right, so let's have a clip.
He was looking for something new, a way to change his life.
Hey, you wanna go? You need somewhere to stay?
No thanks.
You afraid of something new?
I guess there's this urban myth going around here at the moment. It's about a beach.
A secret beach on an island that no one can get to.
Somewhere, paradise must exist.
I just feel like everyone tries to do something different, but they always wind up doing the same damn thing.
Okay, so the beach. Laurie, do you want to give us a synopsis?
There's a twat in Thailand, and he's looking for twat things to do to enrich the experience, his life. So he drinks like some snake's blood. It's not even alcoholic. He's a twat. And he bumps into this guy that says, oh, there's this amazing island experience that's really secret, man. And then he's kind of mental, and that dude kills himself, but he leaves the twat a map, and he follows the map, which is actually a good part of the film, actually. I quite like that bit. And he gets to the island, and he meets some more twats, and they do like twat stuff together, and then he goes a bit mental.
So you're a fan of this film then, Laurie?
Yeah, very much so.
Do you know, it's a bit sad really, because whenever I watch this film, Richard, the character, reminds me of you, Laurie, completely.
What?
Yeah.
I've fallen on my own sword.
Yeah, because you went to Thailand for a year.
You did.
On your own little adventure.
Exploring what life could offer.
I went to go out there to be with the love of my life, all right? And she'll attest to this. For the first sort of 2 months, actually, I was a massive twat. You're absolutely right. It was me. For the first 2 months, I was grumbling, saying, I'm not a hippie. What am I doing in Thailand? Found it was the most fantastic, life-changing experience of my life. I realised there's no need to keep acting a twat. Or it's all right to be a twat. I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but I found an epiphany out there, and it changed me forever.
Just
You're absolutely right, James. Very astute. So that's why I hate this film so much.
Lauren, Wyndham, your first memories, when did you watch it?
So my first watching of this was a couple of weeks ago in preparation for this podcast.
Really?
I'd never seen it before. Yeah.
And I've got to say, because this came out, I think we were living in Wimbledon at the time. I remember reading the book. Everyone was reading the book. We watched the film.
It's a big book. Yeah, I read the book. Yeah.
All Saints were singing their little ditty about it. It seemed everywhere. You know,
the music in this film. Fucking hell.
We'll get
twist
onto that.
My dick.
But it reminded me as
well.
Do
you know what?
I went and did Camp America a couple of years before that, and it was that whole kind of spirit of adventure, travelling and stuff. I've got a lot of affection for this film.
You're a bigger man than me, Sam.
The kind of, it's not really a problem I have with it, but it's just at the end of it, I kind of went, it's just a film, you know. And I think I rarely come out of the films that we pick thinking it's just a film. They're either brilliant, or they're super shit, or they're really weird, or they're whatever. This is just a film. It didn't touch me in any way. The performances are fine. Whatever.
I'm so sorry. Basically, I let my self-flagellation come into the quality of our content. I'm sorry, but I just had to flagellate. I must have felt guilty that day, or I don't know what the hell it was. But yeah, I knew I didn't like this film, and I picked it for some dickhead reason.
Let's try and start with the positives, if there is any. All right.
Okay. I
think it tells an original story. there's nothing else quite like it really, or there certainly wasn't anything like it when it came out. And it captured kind of a zeitgeist of the nation, I reckon.
Yeah, I think there is that gap year kind of ethos that you take a year out, you travel to Thailand or wherever, and you find yourself, have adventures, do things you would never do normally, and this encapsulates that. And the idea of going to this random island.
It's because I never realised this.
You lived the beach.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so the kind of the premise is that this beach island is it's actually used by drug growers, massive marijuana farm there, and as a result,
I like the way you're calling them drug growers. Sorry, I think that's great.
What do you call them?
Drug growers.
What do you call them?
I suppose, yeah.
They're growing the drugs, right? Farmers, there you go. And all these people have pitched up the island, and the drug lords or the farmers have basically said, okay, you can stay and build your little community, but no more people are allowed to come. Otherwise, we're going to lose our shit and get very angry with you. And at that point, Daffy, played by Robert Carlyle, loses his mind, goes to Bangkok, bumps into Leonardo DiCaprio, and gives him a map. And then he makes a copy of that map, leaves it for somebody else, and lo and behold, it all falls to shit. But it was just, meh. It's just meh.
Yeah. It's just meh is actually a word that I use quite a lot in my review here, or my notes, should I say?
I think as well what one of the problems is that the people involved in this film all kind of believe their own hype a bit. Like Danny Boyle is a big victim of this. Really believing the hype of, Trainspotting was a great film, but
with a great soundtrack.
Leonardo DiCaprio, acting his socks off, but in a kind of smug way. And same with Carlyle.
Yes.
It's just a bit, get over it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Carlyle's playing the Bampot from a different kind of Glaswegian nutter that he did from Trainspotting. And yeah, it's a good point actually. And actually, I'm actually quite a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's almost never bad. And before
he was
this,
annoying in this, though, right?
He's not bad in this, but I just think the whole thing is a bit meh.
Yeah.
And
when he goes mental at the end and he starts sneaking into the drug growers' den where they're asleep, and he puts a bandana on and stuff like that, didn't you find him really irritating?
Yeah, and it was such an acceleration from relative normal to fucking crackers.
And that gaming bit.
Yeah, I love
that gaming bit as well. It's it's so badly done. He's like, he's doing these stupid faces.
Yeah, that's aged really badly.
Really badly. And the soundtrack, Moby and fucking All Saints, and it's like, oh fuck, right off.
What about Tilda Swinton? She never gives a bad performance.
She's actually been known to annoy me sometimes, but in this, I think she does actually quite well. Yeah, she's like that. She is like that.
I thought she was all right in this.
I quite liked her in this. Yeah, she's quite good.
Yeah, but again, I just the whole kind. I mean, I appreciate that. I've not spent a year in Thailand. I presume you did bump into some of these people, Laurie, once you decided you didn't have to be one of them anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess they are out there.
Look, the other problem I think with this film is I think it wants to be something like Apocalypse Now and really profound.
And when he starts going crackers, and he's going in, I was kind of putting very briefly in mind of Deer Hunter and stuff like that, and you kind of go, but he had a very genuine kind of descent into crazy because of what he'd been through. You've spent 3.5 weeks on a beautiful island, and somebody's had their leg bitten off.
That's it. It's basically that Tilda found out that he was to blame because these surfer dudes have got the map and they're coming to the island, so that's going to put him in deep shit with the drug growers. So he's got to stay up the hill And the moment they come on land, Tilda says you've got to get that map off them, and then that's when he goes into the video game and goes batshit crazy. But I did say earlier though, I quite like the bit when they're getting to the island. I kind of like that whole kind of sequence of them.
But him and the two
steps. Yeah. Albeit I don't like a love triangle. Love triangles piss me off, so that bit pissed me off. But the travel we're getting there was quite good.
Okay.
And to be fair, if you were swimming from one island to another, which is what they were doing, and one of the people you were swimming with dove down and pretended to be eaten by a shark, you'd punch him in the face, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Not
funny.
So you utter prick.
What a rush!
Should we talk a little bit about the music? So, did you not like any of it?
I hated it. Absolutely. So you've got Moby.
It's a guy from Twin Peaks.
I know. But he's probably doing the incidental stuff. But the stuff I'm talking about is Moby, Uncle, Blur, All Saints. It's just shit.
You like Blur, don't you?
I do like Blur, but not in here. The film's trying to be cool. Like, you nailed it, James, when you said it believed in its own hype. It's trying to be whoa, and it's not whoa.
Do you know what? The other thing I've got, and it is a bit cornflake, because I haven't really written very much about it. It's very superficial. It's what you see is what you get in it.
Yes. Yeah.
I've made no notes on this film at all.
Great. Let's score it.
Well,
score it. And I'm just really sorry I picked it.
Just to say as well, I mean, it didn't do itself any favours to production, did it? Because it had lots of reports that they've trashed the island where they went and filmed this, apparently.
The beautiful beach, they fucked it up.
Yeah, so
yeah, I mean, there's we are kind of skimming over it because it didn't make a big impression on us, evidently. Because there is, as you say, the love triangle, and the French woman leaves her boyfriend for Leo. And
dramatic. I've got here like memorable scenes. Nothing stands out. Does it stand up today? Not really. It's dull. You know,
and you're right. That video game
lines.
sequence is what? No. In fact, the only memorable line, and bearing in mind I made no notes, so this is the only one I remember, is when periodically they have to do a supplies run back to Bangkok, and Tilda Swinton tells Leonardo DiCaprio, Richard or Robert, whatever his name is, he's going to come with her, and they end up shagging, and he's a bit worried. So, she's got a boyfriend on the island, and she puts him straight and says, whatever his name, Brian, is my boyfriend. You're someone I've just had sex with. Now get some sleep, because I might want sex again before we go back to the island.
Yeah.
It's the only line I remember.
I mean, I quite liked the bits in Bangkok and seeing around the place. For like a travel log, it was quite nice, really. But I suppose we could have just had Laurie for that.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
should we mark it?
Yeah, I think we better add to before we lose the will to live. All right. So, Laurie, performances.
5.
Win.
6.
6 from me. Effects. Wyndham.
6.
That video game
2
was
from me.
dog shit.
But the shark bite was good.
Yeah,
shark bite was good.
It really
the shark bite was good. You're right.
Go on, Laurie.
So what are we on now? I gave that 2.
All right. Okay. Plot. It gets 7 from me. Laurie.
4 from me.
Okay.
Yeah, 7.
Rewatch factor. Laurie.
2.
2 for me.
2.
Yeah.
2 for me.
Direction. Laurie. Wyndham.
6.
6 for me.
1.
Oh wow! You really don't like it, do you? Cinematography. Laurie.
3.
Okay.
Oh, that is hard. I've got 8 because I think there are some beautiful
shots. It
shots.
looks nice. Yeah, you're right. It does look nice. 6 for me. Sound of music. Wyndham.
5.
5 for me.
1.
Oh Lord. Originality. 8 for me.
7 from me.
7.
Enjoyability, Laurie.
3.
5 for me. Win.
3 from me.
I love changing past and present. It gets a 6 from me.
Does it? It's a 0 for me.
Well, it was a good time. I remember it fondly.
I remember reading the book and
what year
smoking
did you
fags.
go, Laurie? What year were you in Thailand?
99. So
around
we'd
about
just
this
come
time.
back. Yeah. So we'd just come back from Thailand. So obviously, I would have seen this on DVD. I wouldn't go to the cinema to see it. So yeah, I was probably still fresh from it, and yeah, maybe it just hits a couple of notes that are in me because that kind of I just really don't like it. Yeah.
All right, crikey.
Cool.
All right, the scores are in then. It gets 53 from me.
47 from me.
Come on, I will make you watch it again.
33.
33, wow.
33. Giving us a movie Lighthouse score of 44.3 recurring.
44.3. So that puts it at this year's scoreboard. It puts it above Swamp Thing, obviously, but below very below V for Vendetta. And on the larger scoreboard, what is it? 44.3. It puts it all the way down in place number 51st, below Death Wish, but above In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Gosh, we got some quality down there these days. Do you all remember what's the lowest, by the way? Do you know who's at the bottom of our leaderboard?
Yes.
It's Return of the Living Dead 2.
Return of the Living Dead 2.
And right at the top, Jaws. Another film.
Still? Is it still right at the top?
Well, yeah, because nobody's...
What was the score that got?
89.
Punchy.
All right, so... Obviously, slightly different these days. I'm going to have to pick the ball.
Well, it's your turn to pick anyway, James.
Is it my turn to pick the things as well? Oh, wonderful.
It is.
Right. Okay, so I will, just in the spirit of fairness, I have got the ball, and the ball is...
82.
82. All
I'm
right.
actually just thinking about that. I can see
about
some
number 82,
wire and
how
stuff
weird.
up here.
What?
There's some wire and stuff up here, so maybe next one I could sort of fashion a random number generator and you could jiggle your sack whilst I run it.
Okay. Oh, I think this is going to be good. It's another year, and the year is, I think, a vintage year. 1984.
Oh, great.
Ah,
wow. Okay, right. I'm going to need to use my device.
Yeah, so we will we'll be back after these short messages.
Lighthouse.
All right, so we are back. I have chosen 1984, which I do think, even though I say so myself, is a wonderful year.
Jesus
belter of a year.
Christ, I have never written down so many bangers, and I have not got a clue which two I can whittle this down
Laurie,
to.
kick us off then. What's your first choice?
I really don't... you're going to have to give me a minute or two. This is just crazy.
Wyndham, what's your first? No, hold on. No, he's going first. That's the rule. And you make sure you don't cheat.
Well, I'm going first, am I?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Right. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Windy Bums just vanished. How did you do that?
Right, come on.
Just disappear every now and then.
Sorry. Oh, God, this is really, really hard. I'm going to say by Studio Ghibli, so obviously the makers of Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, all that stuff. There's a particular director, I can't remember his name now, and I wouldn't dream of saying it because I'll get it horribly wrong. It's called Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, All right, it's an early Studio Ghibli film, and it's profoundly beautiful. It's a great film. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Thank you, Wyndham.
And I'm going to go for the slightly less profound, but equally brilliant. This is Spinal Tap. I'm catering for our cult
Your second
segment.
choice, please, Mr. Weiss.
Oh, Jesus. You've got Terminator, Dune, Repo Man, The Company of Wolves, Firestarter, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, The Last Starfighter, Red Dawn. But I'm going to go for... Oh, there's Chud as well.
Your Chud. Just say the bloody film.
There's a really, really funny comedy. It's comedy in your ballsack.
I'm not going to choose either of yours if you don't hurry up.
It's comedy in your ballsack. If it is, I know what I'm going for.
Go on then.
Oh, come on.
Is comedy in your ballsack? Is there a comedy
Is that the film?
category?
Just say the bloody film. Flipping heck.
Okay, we're going to go for Chud. Chud. There's these weird things that live underground. It's a very, very cult, classic. I've never seen it. Chud.
Great, thanks. Wyndham.
Okay.
Jesus.
And I'm going to go absolute mainstream, super classic. We bagged one of its sequels earlier, but I'm going to go for The Terminator.
Oh, gosh. Right.
I think I want to see Chud.
Yeah, I really want to see Chud.
All right. We are going to go for Chud, and
Yes!
this is Spinal Tap.
Yes!
Yeah, I think we need a bit of fun in our lives. So, and I can't, just after watching that other Terminator, I don't think I can bring myself to watching the first one, no matter how good it is. All right, so...
And we will just be gushy about it.
Next time, hopefully we won't be so long away, seems as though we've got nothing else to do except watch films, so we might see you guys sooner rather than later.
A bit sooner. Yeah.
All right then, guys. Well,
this went better than I thought it might.
Listening as ever. Stay safe in these unsettled times, and make sure you watch Chud and This is Spinal Tap. And if you have seen them and you want to tell us what you think of them, then please write in. Or, for God's sake, give us a review on iTunes. Email us at themovielighthouse@gmail.com. Facebook us at Movie Lighthouse. Twitter us at Movie Lighthouse. Instagram us at Movie Lighthouse, I imagine.
At the Movie Lighthouse, yep.
Yeah. And we'll see you all next time, yes?
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Big love, people.
Toot toot.
Lighthouse.